Welcome to the Virtual Ball Boys podcast. My name is Chris, and I am joined once again by my good friend, Matt.
Welcome to the Virtual Ball Boys Christmas Spectacular, starring Chris as Ebenezer Scrooge, Matt as the Peanuts, all of them, and special guest Chet Avery as Mrs. Claus. Join us for a wonderful hour where we try to find the true meaning of football.
He's the Peanuts, all of them. Yes. What is football? I do think that is the question that I think all of us are asking after this weekend.
Absolutely. I mean, the answer, the meaning of football was already answered in John Boyce's 17,776 and 20,021, which still or 20,020, which still needs a sequel. Please, I need 20,021 so bad.
Yeah.
Come on, John.
Wait a second. Yeah.
Come on, John.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, John. John, I need it.
Yeah, we are. If you are newer listeners, you know that you may not know that we have been doing a kind of it's like an ongoing series, but it's been like 2 episodes. But where we have sat down and we just chatted about John Boyce's 17,776, and as you mentioned already, 20,000. What is it? Was it 20,000? It's just 20,020.
20,020.
Yeah. We've had those discussions about that, and then we're going to when he apparently it is going to have a sequel, 20,020. So
they need to finish that story. You can't end it there.
Yeah. So I feel like I'm going to need to even go back and read the 20,000.
Oh, I absolutely will too.
Because I feel like I forget everything that's happened. But yes, so we will have a discussion about that at some point. As a dedicated episode, most likely in the off season, but that's so far away. Instead, we are going to talk about what happened this past weekend. I would say, Matt, like, I don't know, you and I have been talking football for even before we started recording it on podcasts. I want to say like 8 years now, something wild like that. So the fact I feel like I don't think I'm out of line when I say this might have been the best regular season weekend we've ever had in terms of just absolutely. I mean, like most of the games were close, and I think only one game, which I think was Monday Night Football, was a 2-score victory, or maybe like a couple were, but like that Monday night was like the blowout, which by the way is not actually going to be our blowout of the week this week. I have something else for that. But what a wild sequence of events, and for a special weekend, like I said, we're gonna kind of tackle it in a way that is a little bit different than usual. We're gonna go through our 3 categories though in order to do so. So. Game of the week. This is the worst weekend to pick a game of the week because all of them were great. I think Bills Dolphins was great. I think Chargers Titans was awesome. Jets Lions was also phenomenal. You could really make an argument for a lot of these games. Chiefs Texans ended up being an amazing game too. Went to fucking overtime somehow. But that is not none of those games are going to be what we talk about right now. We could have maybe when we're done going through our recap here, but our game of the week has to be Patriots at Raiders. And
really? Okay.
Because I have other placements for other games here.
Okay. All right. I'll wait.
But Patriots at Raiders.
I'll wait for that one.
Because this game was an excruciating watch for most of it. And it was mostly because of the fact that you watch the Raiders, they open up a 17 to 6 lead on the Patriots. They go to halftime, they had the lead. And we know what happened last week with them against the Rams. And we're like, all right, they're going to blow it again. It's sure fucking enough. Not only do they blow it, but then the Patriots they start to they take the lead about like with like 5 minutes left or something like that. And the Raiders were completely incompetent on offense. They were one of the most pathetic teams I've ever seen. Like they were just time after time throwing balls, and either the receiver dropped it or it was just behind the receiver or just in front of the receiver. Every single time, no matter what, nothing was working for the Raiders. And then they have this one drive where they march down the field and they get a touchdown. But that touchdown, a little controversial, because if you look at the cameras, Keelan Cole, he caught the touchdown, but if you look at his toes, it was on the white. But because they didn't have a close enough camera, which in this day and age, I don't know how the fuck that happens, but because they didn't have a close enough camera, it was not definitive, and therefore they kept the call on the field, which was a touchdown. So, like, all right, they tied it. Patriots now have a short amount of time to start marching down the field, maybe get into field goal range, kick a field goal, win the game. And they struggle because the Patriots offense also not a great example of an offensive NFL. They are not a very good offensive team. So they struggle to get there, but they're at the 40-yard line and they're like, all right, there's like 3 seconds left on the clock. We're going to surrender it because it's a tied ball game. We're not going to do a Hail Mary. We're going to have Stevenson run the ball. And he runs the ball, and he runs it well. He actually starts to run it in a way that it makes you think, like, oh, wait a minute, this might be like a last-second touchdown for the Patriots here. He makes it far enough. He's about to get tackled, and it was about to get sent to overtime. He laterals it back to Jacoby Myers. Then Jacoby Myers laterals it to Mac Jones, who's in like the middle of the field with one defender next to him. But that one defender happened to be Chandler Jones, who is wide open and catches the ball. And thus began the series of events in which I blacked out laughing because I saw Chandler Jones bring down the ball, then he stiff arms Mac Jones so hard that Mac Jones might as well be in the center of the earth at the moment, and then just books it to the end zone and wins the game for the Raiders in the luckiest win I have ever seen in an NFL football game.
Yeah.
Which is very on brand for the 2022 Raiders, if I may add. And it was just one of the best moments in the history of the NFL for me. Because, like, I think we remember, Matt, you could probably recollect this too, in terms of, like, 2018. I want to say it was 2018. 2019. It was still when Brady was with the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
They, down in Miami, week 17.
Yes.
They put Rob Gronkowski in for the Hail Mary. The Dolphins decided to do a lateral play. The lateral play ends up working for the Dolphins. They score a touchdown, and it's like, what the fuck? How did the Dolphins get away with doing that? How did the Patriots fail that? And everyone always talks about, oh, well, the Patriots, they're the best well-coached team out there. They never make any mistakes. That's Bill Belichick for you. He's never going to do anything wrong. And then you cut to here, and you still have the same fucking people coming out and like, wow, that's unorthodox. That's not what the Patriots team does. The Patriots that I know was the kick-ass football team. And it's just like, it is time to wake up, ladies and gentlemen. These Patriots are not what they used to be, and it's fucking hilarious that they have delivered two of the best finishes that we've ever seen to a football game in, like, within a span of 4 years, and they're both glorious losses. And that's
because
why
the Patriots fuck up.
Yes. And that's why it's my game of the week. Because of the meaning of seeing the Patriots lose to Josh McDaniel, which also has its own layer of storyline, obviously. But just Bill Belichick, like, seething, walking onto the field after the game. Because you could just tell he is just agonizing off of this play. And the Raiders, who just like I picked the Raiders to win that game. I did not think it would be in this fashion. I did not think it would be that they would like have to have multiple miracles go their way. I don't know. I guess you could feel good that you got a win in this instance, but it was maybe not earned, but it was still a glorious, glorious finish. And again, that's why it's my game of the week, because I can't get over how amazing that finish was.
Very, very fun finish.
Yeah. But I think we all know that there was another game this week. And usually we have a blowout of the week. And that I think this would have been Rams at Packers. But Packers didn't really do that much of a blowout. All right, first of all. All right. Kind of was like, it took to like 3 minutes left in the game to kind of feel like, all right, no, it's probably going to be a Packers win. But the Colts and Vikings had a double blowout. In that, the Colts blew out the Vikings 33-0.
33-0 at halftime.
At halftime. And even when the Vikings, I think, were still down like 36-7 or something like that.
That was the score, yes.
At the end of the third quarter. Like, they were still like not doing that hot going deep into the second half. And they fucking won that game. I believe it was 39-36 was the final score.
That is correct. What got it to 36-36, went into overtime, won the game.
So that, by the way, it is unfortunate to say that is not unprecedented for the Colts, who blew 33 points in the fourth quarter against the Cowboys. That's why that game, their last game on Sunday Night Football, was such a looked so lopsided after it being so close for so long, because they just gave up a shit ton of fucking points in the fourth quarter. It happened again. It happened the second time.
So Matt Ryan is it has the record for largest blown lead in Super Bowl, NFC Championship, international, and regular season game.
That poor man, because it's not all his fault either.
It's definitely not all Matt Ryan's fault. It's the coaching and the defense, but
yeah, that's
the fact that he has that distinction is so sad.
That is wild. And I think everyone was talking about it, so like I'm not like coming up with a new thought here, but just the fact that they took Frank Reich's comeback record away from him, like, it's just another, like, the Colts just kicking the Frank Reich while he's down unnecessarily.
Oh Lord.
Good fucking God. I was kind of like half asleep during that game. I don't think I really was paying enough attention to it. But immediately when I saw, I don't want to say like I was like, oh, I knew that this was gonna end the way it did. Like, no, I obviously not. No one. I think at that point, 33-0, you're like, it's over. But there was that small part of me that did think back to that Cowboys game, that I was just like, well, if any team would blow this lead, it would be the Colts. And sure fucking enough. And it became, and it was a never a doubt best guarantee I've ever made for a football game.
Yeah, I mean, we did take into account that Jeff Saturday was coaching on Saturday at first.
Yeah.
But then it didn't matter.
That's true. I forgot. Yeah, you messaged me. You're like, man, we really should have thought this through, because he is coaching on a Saturday and he's destroying it. And then it's just like, we did not need to take into this account.
Nope.
After all. But this is like, kind of just talking on it from a more broader point of view. This has been like obviously we could talk about, oh man, the Colts are a bunch of jokes at this point. Like, it's insane how bad this team is at this point, even though they show signs of being competitive and then just completely fall apart. But This is what we're talking about with the Minnesota Vikings, though. Like,
It's so wild.
This is what I've been saying, like, all year about how I've been, like, hesitant. I've been wanting to buy into them more, and I've been wanting to give them a little bit more of a pass, because again, they did win the NFC North. You know, like, they're 11-3. Like, they earn those victories, but it's the way they've won these games, how close they have been, and 2 of those losses being like complete blowout destruction losses is kind of just a weird sign about this Vikings team, that it's just like they're good, but they're not amazing. And like, I feel like the only good thing right now is that they're in the playoffs, which means that we are guaranteed an amazing playoff game or 2 from the Vikings.
Yep.
At the very least. Then chaos of the week. For the second week in a row, it's the Jacksonville Jaguars showing up.
Jacksonville Jaguars, baby, let's go.
On this, the Cowboys and Jaguars, which went to overtime after the Jaguars were down. I want to say it was 17-0, which I feel like was like the worst lead in football this week.
So many comebacks, like not just this game. Bengals came back too after looking horrible.
Yeah.
But the Jaguars beating the Cowboys I had them as my team chaos.
Yeah.
I was not expecting it to happen this way.
Yeah.
This Jaguars offense is a really good offense. Now that they've got it all figured out, it's a fantastic offense, and they're getting Calvin Ridley next year.
Right. And also oh god.
Oh no, you go.
I was just gonna say that their defense has also been playing more terrifically. I mean, I know that a lot of people still kind of scoffed at I think it was Trayvon Walker was the number 1 overall pick. Like, people still scoff at that compared to like the other defensive players in that draft, but he is slowly kind of coming to his own as well. Like that all of them. I mean, the guy who ended up intercepting the ball to win in overtime, I forget what his name is, but he had a great game too. I want to say he's either a corner or safety, but
yeah, it was a walk-off pick 6,
right?
Which is nuts.
Yeah, which you just don't usually see happen in these games. Yeah, man, I know I backed off the Jaguars train because they did start to have that slump, and it was a really rough slump to kind of go through. But I did foresee that this team could be something special if the pieces really came together and worked, and that's why I picked them to win the division back in September.
And you know what?
It could.
They're 1 game back,
and they could do it. They absolutely.
They can do it. They can absolutely do it.
They can absolutely do it with.
Get these fucking Titans out of the playoffs. Put the fucking Jacksonville Jaguars in, please.
100%. Like, yeah, we've seen like the Titans have not looked good the last few weeks, and it's so funny that I specifically, I guess, was giving the Titans flowers for beating the Packers, and it was just like, man, this team, I feel like we don't give enough credit to this team, and then they've lost every fucking game since, and they've just not looked good, and it's like they're so injured, they don't have the talent to kind of keep up. Ryan Tannehill can't like get the ball out in time before the offensive line completely crumbles. Like, it is so brutal right now for the Titans, and now you have this plucky Jaguars team that is just could absolutely win out. Like, this is not a question. I know the Texans give them weird trouble. The Texans have been competitive the last few weeks, so I'm not saying that that's a guarantee win. I'm not going to guarantee it, at least when that comes out. But like, I just think that, like, if the talent is where it's at now, and they have a great coaching staff, which like pales in comparison to what happened last year, like,
yep,
they could do it. They absolutely could do it. I'm not worried about the Cowboys. They have not played great the last few weeks, but we'll see. I'm maybe if they really look bad against the Eagles this week, maybe it's like, all right, this is now getting a little alarming. But I think as long as they stay competitive with the Eagles, I'll still feel good about them. Like, it's just one of those teams that you just never can fully trust, though. Like, the Cowboys always end up falling apart in some capacity. There you go. What a fucking week. And again, like, we didn't even go into any of these other games that were like, was it like I missed some of 49ers Seahawks, but I think that game ended up being pretty fun as well, if I'm not mistaken. Like,
Bears Eagles was really close.
Yeah.
Justin Fields having like the best passer rating against this defense out of any quarterback this year.
Right. Yeah.
I'm so fucking excited for Justin Fields in the future, Chris.
I know, man. I'm so happy for you. I know. It didn't end quite well this year, but we kind of thought that the Bears would be one of the worst teams this year.
Yep. And you know what? We got the second overall pick. We don't need a quarterback. Trade down, amass some picks.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's the perfect plan. Don't stay at 2. If we stay at 2, I'm going to be sad.
Right. Unless you get like a really, really like generational talented defensive player or something. Like it may not be the worst thing. But like the most forgettable game, luckily, was the Starfish game. So that's
in fact, the go fuck yourself game of the week is the Browns versus the Ravens.
Yay!
Lamar Jackson, I miss you.
Yeah,
I miss you. I feel horrible about the Ravens' future. Even with Lamar, this team is not what we want them to be.
Their defense is really good, though.
Yeah, their defense is really good, but I need them at 100% before I feel super good about them.
Of course.
And I just don't feel good about them. Even with Lamar, I don't feel good. Fuck Cleveland.
Yeah. I mean, looking at the schedule for the Ravens, they have the Falcons, Steelers, and Bengals. Look, if I don't know when he's expected to come back. I hope he does come back, unless they really feel like the season's lost. But they're 9-5 right now.
They will likely make the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's just they're not going to do well in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So
I feel like I'd be curious to see Falcons and Steelers. Like just for hypothetical, we'll say those are wins potentially because Steelers I know play them tough. So I think that maybe you end up bringing him back. Maybe you just save him for the playoffs because you're right. Like they may end up making the playoffs regardless. Keep him healthy for the playoffs, and then maybe he comes back and he ends up being like he ends up like carrying this team like he has been. You know, like who knows? I'm with you though. I definitely am feeling like this team just does not have the bandwidth to last a long time, but we shall see. All right, what a fucking weekend! I had such a fun time watching it. Again, I think one of the best weekends we've had in football in some time. Next to I think last year's divisional round was incredible as well.
Last year's divisional round really, really ruled.
Yeah, I think maybe that just because of the stakes of that, maybe that's better than this past weekend. But this again, with how much chaos, how much craziness happened this weekend, you can't go wrong. Like this was really a special one.
And there's still yet to be a singular game as fantastic as Raiders-Chargers tie-gate game.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. I can't. The Sunday Night Football game that gets flexed into Week 18 has a lot to live up to as the best Sunday Night Week 18 game because there's only been one in history, and you have to live up to that one. It's just like, fuck, that sucks. All right, let's see. I'll check the time here. You know what? Let us go to break, and when we come back, we are gonna head west for our next VBBFL team. Stay with us.
New team.
Hi, everyone. It's Chris, and I'm back once again to tell you all about Anchor. Anchor by Spotify has actually been the tool of choice for Team Chaos Productions since the moment we decided to get into podcasting. And the biggest reason for this is it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your computer or even your phone. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, but also Apple Podcasts and many more. And best of all, Anchor is free. You do not need to worry about any features being locked out to you. You can get it all if you just download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Happy podcasting.
Sick of talking about video games with people who just want to be toxic? Me too. So join us over at the Gaming Coop. We come together each month to talk about what we love about video games. Discussion topics range from our favorite soundtracks to the best relationships between characters. We also have some fun segments in which we play some trivia or build our school of gaming. Find us on Anchor or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Game on!
Hey, we're back.
Hello.
It's time.
I'm ready to color in the map green somewhere.
Yeah. You should. I don't know if I'll keep this in the recording or not, but you should send me the picture when you're done. Like when you fill in the state.
Here's beforehand.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I will need it updated, but that's fine.
Yes, that's fine.
we can figure that out. Plus, it's actually pretty easy for me in this instance because we are gonna go to the Northwest. All right, are heading to. Oh yeah, this is VBBFL team creation, by the way.
VBBFL team creation, yes.
We are gonna make a team for the city of Tacoma, Washington.
This is our second real city in a row.
Yep.
Tacoma is a place that people know.
That is a place. Tacoma nuts, you know.
I don't think that's a thing.
Tacoma nuts.
Oh, okay, I hear it now. God damn it, Chris.
The Tacoma Nut Fellows.
We're not doing nothing, Nut Fellows. Especially that, because that says tug on my nuts, fellows. Hey, fellas. I got enough fun new game for us.
got a fun little party game going here. Oh god, that's so funny. That's so funny.
Fuck.
Hey, what's up, guys? Want to play a little Summer Nuts?
You can't finish it.
I'm sorry, we have ruined Tacoma already.
I know what the soundbite is going to be for this episode.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I did have Tacoma Nuts locked and loaded, but I give you a tip of the hat for the fact that you just said Tacoma Nuts. I think that's very funny, actually. Holy fuck! All right. We're gonna take this seriously now. I am so sorry, yes. Tacoma, Washington, and your 219,000 people we just offended. I apologize.
That's bigger than my hometown.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. It's about the same size.
Oh God! All right. I nearly blocked out in the same way I almost blocked out during the Patriots Raiders ending. Let's go into what makes Tacoma, Washington click, what makes them unique, what makes them stand out. They're pretty much, they're like a central point, it looks like. I mean, they're not quite in the center of Washington, but it looks like they're close to, they're a few miles out from Seattle, a few miles out from Olympia. So these are all like significant.
Still on the coast.
Yeah, still on the coast. So interesting stuff there. I did. I saw the sports stuff earlier because I wanted to see if any of them are interesting. The only one I would say that maybe treads on our territory is the Tacoma Cobras, but that is from the Professional Development Football League, which apparently still exists. Apparently, I don't know. All right, interesting. So luckily we will not have to steer away from it because considering that the swamp cats were robbed from us by Louisiana already.
Oh shit, Bing Crosby's from Tacoma.
Oh fuck, should we do a holiday themed VBFL team?
We don't, probably not, right?
We've already done reindeer in some capacity, right?
you know we've done deer. Yeah. You know who else is from Tacoma?
Oh no, I don't hate it.
Big Brother, celebrity Big Brother winner Misha Tate.
Okay, sure. I don't know if I really want to model a little team after her, but sure.
No, I don't.
Sure. Oh,
I don't.
Oh, fucking Ted Bundy.
Yeah, I didn't want to mention the serial killers. There's another serial killer.
Wait, there's two serial killers? Oh no.
Yeah, Joseph Edward Duncan.
God.
He's less famous, but also doesn't have a movie named after him. And, you know, don't glorify serial killers in Netflix documentaries, you sick fucks.
Wait, there's 3 serial killers.
There's a third one, Michael Swango. Okay.
Good job, guys. Good.
Nice. Oh, Desmond Trufant.
Oh, there you
Hey.
go. There,
Current NFL player who I recognize the name of.
there you go. Okay.
All right, so the first thing I saw
Yes.
was Tacoma has the Museum of Glass.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yes.
So that's something right away.
Fuck yes. I love it. Give me the weird
It's
shit.
got one of the buildings is a cone.
Okay.
It's called the Hot Shop.
Okay.
Which I assume that's where they like make the glass.
Okay.
They're visiting residencies of artists I assume glassmakers.
Do they? Okay, so let me ask you: is they? I mean, as if you're the expert, but
Yeah.
for what you're seeing, is it like, are they making like just glass in general, or are they making like those fancy schmancy church glass stuff?
A stained glass?
Like stained glass, yeah.
So it's church glass.
Church glass.
My favorite kind of glass. Here, let me go to the Museum of Glass, www.museumofglass.org. I mean, it does look mostly like more glass sculptures,
Okay.
which are still really fucking cool. I do
Yeah.
see some stained glass, which I feel like comes with the territory.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, if you, it's hard to make a artsy glass museum work and you not color in your glass, you know.
Of course, yeah. And there is a glass museum type thing at Navy Pier, which is cool to visit. And there's a lot of stained glass stuff there, so I'm sure that's there. All right, so I think glass, absolutely, we need to theme this around.
I'm into it. I feel like that's the hard part already done. Like the fact that I feel like that is that's oh wait, hold on.
Oh.
No, we're keeping with the glass. It's called
Okay.
the City of Destiny.
Oh, okay.
I feel like Glass Destiny sounds fucking badass.
That feels like something that that you would say, and then someone asks, "What are you talking about?" You know, Glass Destiny. And you wouldn't be able to explain yourself any further.
It would be the most like open to interpretation whenever Walsh comes up in his mind what that looks like, and that's how he ended up making it.
Like it feels like we would be going down a David S. Pumpkins route of reasoning as we kept going.
Fuck yes, that's kind of where my end goal, honestly,
Is a David S. Pumpkin situation.
It's a David S. Pumpkin situation. Exactly that is to get that level of confusion with people. It's just like, wait, what does that mean? Just think about it.
He's David Pumpkins.
It's just David S. Pumpkins. But like, why? It's just think.
Oh, there's an S in his name now.
That's like the last funny SNL skit, by the way.
It might be the only funny SNL skit.
That's true. That's true. I could, like, if you go back, I don't know. Like what's his face? Chris Farley's.
Oh, Chris Farley was very good.
Yeah, Chris Farley's van down by the river was, I think, still an all time.
Yeah, okay. There's two good SNL.
There you go. Yeah, fair enough. Okay. So yes, I was the Glass Destiny thing. I am somewhat joking about. I thought it would have been funny.
Yeah, I mean, we do have to kind of keep the animal theme at this point.
Let's keep it.
We're 5 teams.
So
we're 5 teams deep.
We've held back in terms of not doing the cat stuff. Can we find a cat in the region of Tacoma, Washington? I know there's a lot of house cats, but we're talking the wild cats.
Let me see. Washington State animals. Marmots seem to be
The glass marmots?
glass marmots. It's a bit
Hold on.
strange. Not many people know what a marmot is.
Yeah, I've
do
never heard of it.
Okay, they do have orcas as their state marine mammal. Glass orca is fucking badass.
That's awesome.
That is fantastic. We don't even have to do like black and white for this. We could, but like think of like we can do whatever fucking colors we want because this could be a stained glass orca.
Right. Holy shit. The Tacoma glass orcas.
Yeah.
I love it so much. Okay. I feel like if we're going really any colors at this point, let's think about the colors we haven't used.
Okay, we have not used, ironically, red and purple, which would be a really good fit for this, but we have used in the past.
Yeah.
We've only used yellow once.
Right.
So we've used orange, white, navy blue, yellow, gray, cyan, pink, black, brown, green.
What about purple, white?
I don't want to do like 2 white.
Yeah, I already have 2 white teams.
White as a primary color.
Okay.
Because we have that with the Fiber Foxes already.
Okay. Trying to think of like different shades that we could go down though, like purple. Do we go like Barney and do like purple lime green?
Purple green.
Purple lime green.
If we didn't do that with fucking New Orleans.
We did that. So that was
with Lafayette.
That was a darker green though. Darker.
Yeah,
green.
that was brown and green. We did with that.
Brown and darker green and then like a purple light green. I'm thinking here. That's I'm just throwing that out there. We could change story.
Yeah, that's a little close to like Mountaineers.
Yeah.
From a couple seasons ago, pink and green. Not that bad though. We are gonna have to like reuse shit eventually.
Right, and purple, yellow are good contrasting colors.
Yes.
And I think considering that like it is kind of like a black and white orca, like those. I mean, that is the color of orcas. So
correct.
Like, I mean, if we want to colorize it, yeah, purple, yellow might work out. I think as a like a good lateral if you feel good about that. What's the other yellow team that we have on our?
It is yellow and navy blue. That seems a little too similar.
Yeah.
Navy blue and purple. And that's the polka deer.
Right. Because I'm thinking if we do a purple at this point, it would be a purple that is darker, and then we pick like a lighter color in comparison.
Yeah.
We already have 2 blues, so we rule that out.
We do not have any reds yet. Would a red and yellow team look good? Or like a red and gold. That's kind of getting Golden Griffins territory. But it doesn't have to be exactly that. If we do more of a gold and a red.
Yeah, I mean, we did blue and orange one year, and that's like my New York Bozos team color. I'm down for it. I guess red and yellow just is one of my like. I know this is like maybe your favorite color combination. I for some reason I
wouldn't say favorite, but
but like it's like. I always just associate ketchup and mustard with it, and I'm just like I can't get that out of my head.
Okay, but if it's a different shade of red, like if it's a Minnesota or a Washington,
yeah, like so are you thinking like a kind of a maroon yellow?
More maroon. I feel like that's what would work best with a yellow.
Yeah,
if we want to do that, but I do think like if we're thinking stained glass, that almost feels better with a brighter red.
Oh, we're in a tough pickle then.
Yeah, indeed. We're in one doozy of a pickle, Gary.
What? It sucks because I was like, all right, well then, like, do we go back to lime green and with the red? And yes, that's Christmassy, but then also you could make the argument that that's so close to Anaconda too. And so it's just like,
yeah.
So it's I can't believe we're having the most debate for the color compared to the mascot, but Glass Orcas just nailed it so hard.
Yeah.
You know what? You are the one that makes the uniforms. I don't really have much of a role in the artistic process of this, as much as I'm just like, hey, this is our teams, and then you make the uniforms, Welsh makes the logos. So I want you to make the final call that you feel like is best for this.
Oh shit! Hold on. What was the official? I need to check the official color combination that we did for the War Train.
War Train
we said red, orange, and gold.
Red orange, I think, was the primaries of. Well, it was red orange was like why I ended up making the gradient for.
Yep, red, orange, and gold. So this would be more red and gold, or still a red and yellow, unless we wanted to retroactive the yellow to a gold or a brighter yellow from the polka deer. Have a little bit of different yellow.
So, what's polka deer's two colors again?
Right now it just says navy blue and yellow.
Okay, so maybe we're talking maybe more Notre Dame.
More Notre Dame than Michigan.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that for Polka Deer
with polka, and then more red and yellow, like a darker red and yellow.
Right. Yeah, I think we could go in that direction.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see how it looks out.
Yeah.
But I do think that like a red and yellow would look good together. I think it can make a cool stained glass orca.
Yeah.
And we're deciding what Walsh's interpretation is going to be right now, pretty much by saying, "Hey, stained glass."
Yeah. Well, I definitely I don't want to enter the. I like his artistic mind, and so I definitely don't want to.
Yeah.
I definitely want to see what he thinks of when he sees glass orcas, but yeah, I'm comfortable with the red yellow that we have, and so then the Polka Deer we're saying is maybe more of a dark, maybe like a gold or a blue,
maybe
a navy blue with a gold, and then glass orcas maybe more like red, yellow, a little bit brighter, maybe not completely bright though either.
Yeah,
on either side. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Something like that.
I'm down. So there you
Cool.
go. That is our 6th football team. The Tacoma Glass Orcas, which joins the Woonsocket Fiber Foxes, the Euclid Polka Deer, the Westminster Mechaboos, the Sanford Possum Express, the Lafayette Mud Otters, and then the Tacoma Glass Orcas is our newest team.
Love these teams.
This is insane.
Okay, I don't know why it sent like that. Let me do a screenshot.
We will have 2 more teams to make over the next 2 regular season weeks that we have left for recording. Lots of fun ahead. Hell yeah. So and looking at the map right now, basically my hope is we get a Hawaii in there for the West, and maybe you include like a Nevada, Arizona situation, one of those, or maybe get North Dakota because it's like isolated up there. Because I think right now we're saying with the East, it's kind of like you can make the East right now made up completely of Louisiana, Ohio, North Carolina, Rhode Island teams.
Yeah. I think Louisiana also has a good chance to be West.
Yes.
There's still a few Eastern states that we can do.
Yep.
Delaware, Maryland. I don't think DC will count.
No, I don't think so.
Delaware, Maryland, Vermont, Maine are still all options.
Yeah.
And then it's going to be a little bit confusing if we get to like Illinois, Iowa, Missouri. Like one of those.
Yeah,
that versus Louisiana is gonna be hard to like figure out which one should be in the West, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean we've seen it happen in the past, you know, like especially like it from a standpoint of, well, never mind. I was gonna say like if you look at the college football, like SEC West is Louisiana, but then also Big Ten West is Illinois, so. Never mind.
Well, the SEC is also in general farther.
Right.
No, they're kind of the same if you think about it.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll make it work. It'll be.
Also, Missouri is in the SEC because they're fucking losers. So.
There you go.
Have I talked to you about how much I hate the University of Missouri?
I feel like you have in some capacity. But I didn't know it was that much of a hatred.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's the fact that they're SEC, but also Midwest.
Right.
And the bragging rights game, of course.
Right. Yes. That all does make sense. So then in like the Kansas Missouri rivalry, you pick Kansas.
I don't know. Is that a rivalry?
That is it used to be, and then so all right. This is maybe going off on a tangent, but Kansas and Missouri were actually the bowl makers this year. We're going to have them, I think, play each other. I think in the Music City Bowl in Tennessee. But Missouri reportedly, we don't know this for sure, so I don't want to completely besmirch them, but basically refused to play Kansas.
Huh.
And this is after years after their football rivalry has been retired for some time, has not been resurrected. I don't know why. I don't know. It's a weird choice by Missouri to.
Yeah.
If it is Missouri that's like holding back on it, I don't know. Maybe they just look at Kansas football program and think we don't want to face these schlubs every year, but then all of a sudden Kansas is actually a good football team now, or decent at least. It's weird. College football is a weird fucking place. It's just the weird.
Sure is.
Speaking of college football, let's update you guys on.
Is it time for Pilk Watch?
Pilk Watch. It is Pilk Watch 2022. Liberty at Toledo just kicked off as I am speaking. So we'll see how that result ends up showing how that ends up sorting out. But Boca Raton Bowl is what they're playing in. But we've had 11 other bowl games come through, and right now, Matt, you are sitting at a 4-7 record. I am sitting at a 5-6 record, so it's close.
It is close. I'm not. I do not have to deal with the Pilkening yet.
Not yet. Yeah. So we have plenty more to go. If it stays that close, the potential for a tie, just starts to build up. But of course, we're only through a couple of days of bowl season, so nothing big yet. I think our next disagreement will be tomorrow's game or Wednesday's game, the New Orleans Bowl between Western Kentucky at South Alabama. So keep your eyes on that. There'll be a lot more bowls being played out between now and the next time we record, so we will let you know what the update is on that front. Speaking of updates, let me tell you about what's going on with our picks in their NFL sphere anyway. This past week we disagreed more on games than we have ever had. I think it's up there amongst our most disagreed week. 6 games. I ended up taking it with 4 games going my way and 2 games going Matt's way. So that is an 11-5 week for me, and I got 6 points. Matt, you went 9-7. You also got both your guarantee and chaos, so you did get an extra point in there. So that was 3 points for you this week. So that puts us at I am at 138.84 with 53 points. Matt, you're at 132.90 with 40 points. And so it is still 3 weeks. There's a lot of football left to be played. We'll see how it plays out. Matt, why don't you get us
first
started? Oh, what's that?
I'm going to give some playoff clinching scenarios because I forgot to do those last week.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so in the AFC, the Buffalo Bills have clinched the playoff berth. We will see them in January. The Kansas City Chiefs have clinched the AFC West. We will see them hosting a game in January. Buffalo Bills can win the title if they win the AFC East title, if they win or Miami loses. And that will pretty much be the same thing from here on out, I believe. If they lose and Miami continues to win, we'll see what happens there. Cincinnati Bengals can get into the playoffs if they win or the Jets lose. If either of those happen, Cincinnati in the playoffs. Baltimore has a lot of weird ones, a lot of ties involved. But the main one is they have to win, and then some combination of Miami, New England, and the Jets need to lose. If two of those three teams lose, Baltimore will be in the playoffs. They will also be in the playoffs if New England, New York, Cleveland, Las Vegas, Tennessee all lose and the Chargers win. That's the only one that doesn't involve a tie explicitly.
Huh. Okay.
Baltimore will get into the playoffs. The Chargers, surprise, will get into the playoffs if they win and then some combination of Las Vegas, New England, New York, or Miami lose. And a couple ties in there too, but who cares? So go Los Angeles.
There you go.
They got a shot. In the NFC, that's it for the AFC. In the NFC, the Eagles and the Cowboys are both in the playoffs. No division win yet. The Vikings have clinched the NFC North. The 49ers, the NFC West. We will be seeing all 4 of those teams in the playoffs. Philadelphia can even clinch the East if they win. They can also clinch a first-round bye if they win. Or for some reason, they tie and Minnesota loses, but that probably won't happen. The New York Giants can get into the playoffs, Chris, this week.
Yeah.
If they win and some combination of Washington, Detroit, and Seattle lose. 2 of those 3 teams lose and the Giants win, they're in the playoffs. How does that make you feel?
I'm sorry. So it would be the Giants would have to win.
Yep, and then Washington, Detroit, Seattle. If two of those teams lose, the Giants have clinched the playoffs.
So Seattle plays Kansas City.
Yep.
So let's just say, for hypothetical sake, they lose. Washington plays 49ers. Let's say hypothetical sake, they lose. And
Giants are in the playoffs.
Say again? Giants
are in the playoffs.
Well,
if that happens, they're in the playoffs.
Right. And so to me, I would say like that's.
Oh, but they got to beat the Vikings.
That's my thing. I'm like the Seattle Washington thing. I'm like, okay, that's likely, but to win against the Vikings. I mean, look, I went on the soliloquy about the Vikings, right? Like we know that could be a winnable game for the Giants, but we'll see because the Vikings have kind of really forced their way into getting a lot of these victories in these circumstances. So we'll see. Anything can happen in a Minnesota Vikings game, and I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that it could go the Giants' way. Mm-hmm. Matt, how about you get us started with Week 16?
Sure, Week 16, game of the century, Jacksonville Jaguars versus the New York Jets. Jaguars win. They're one step closer to taking the division and making the playoffs. The Jets will once again be without their superstar quarterback, Mike White. And we'll be starting Zach Wilson in this matchup. Who do you think is going to win, Chris?
I'm going Jacksonville. I think as much as I think that the Jets defense is still very good, I think the biggest concern here is that you're still starting Zach Wilson, and he showed some light here and there against the Lions this past week, so it's not going to be a complete disaster for them, but I just think that Mike White would have given them a much better shot against a surging Jaguars team, so I'm going Jags.
The Jaguars team is surging so much for me that I'm going to guarantee them.
Hey, very nice. Very nice. Like it. Cool. Next up, the Buffalo Bills at the Chicago Bears. I'm sure that this is one of those games that we're totally going to disagree on, right?
Right? Yeah, you think?
Yeah, I'm going. Where are you gonna go?
I'm gonna take the Bills, Chris.
Yes, yeah. No, I am going with the Bills as well. Should be easy, but what's the injury status for Justin Fields? Is he still?
He's fine.
Okay, because he walked out of that game temporarily.
I'm pretty sure he's okay. Jalen Hurts is the one that everyone's worried about.
Yes, I know that. Yeah, there was both of them ended up being injured. I think Justin Fields might have came back from his injury. Whereas Jalen Hurts that will be a very interesting topic of discussion when we get there. But I am also taking the Bills.
Alrighty. Next up, we have the New Orleans Saints versus the Cleveland Starfish. Starfish coming off of their horrible win against the Ravens, and the Saints managed to sneak out a win against the Falcons. Do you think their luck will continue? Saints still in the running for the division, still could be in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm going to stick to the Saints here. I'm just not going to acknowledge the Starfish at this point.
Would you have, if the Starfish agreement was not here, would you have picked the Starfish?
I don't think so. I feel like
I would have.
I think the Saints defense last week showed that, like, because they're getting much healthier right now, and I think that's kind of what's helping them in this instance. I think that they'll have a good time against the Browns.
Cool. Yeah, I also think the Saints will win.
Neat. Next up, the Houston Texans at the Tennessee Titans. The Texans have had a very interesting last few weeks, coming so close from knocking off top playoff contenders. They now have a chance to knock off the Titans from potentially being on top of the AFC South. What do you think is going to happen here?
I mean, the Texans played great against actually good teams. I think they'll be able to beat the Titans. I'm Team Chaos in the Houston Texans.
My friend, I'm also Team Chaos in the Houston Texans. You and I...
This does not help me point-wise, but I think we gotta run with it.
That's fine. It's fine. Hey, up to you if you wanted to change it to something else.
That's fine.
But I'm completely with you on this. I feel like the Texans they're not, like, amazing. Like, I don't think I've walked away from those games being like, oh, man, the Texans are back. But
you put up over 20 points against the Cowboys and the Chiefs.
Right. I mean, the Chiefs' defense is kind of not good. But I will say, though, with the Titans, they are just so injured. they're so beat up. As much as Mike Vrabel has wanted to will this team to victory, it's just time and time again they rip defeat from the jaws of victory because of just how badly beat up they are. They're just talent poor right now. And so I think the Texans are going to take care of business.
Yeah.
Seattle
Seahawks take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs trying to race the Bills. They're already in the playoffs. They're trying to race the Bills for the number 1 seed versus the Seahawks trying to make it into the playoffs. Who's got this one?
I'm going Chiefs. I feel bad. I feel like the Seahawks were a really fun early season story, and it seems like their luck has completely run out. I don't see it really changing anytime soon, especially against this team.
You got to make room for the Lions in the playoffs somewhere, so I'm going to sacrifice the Seahawks and pick the Kansas City Chiefs for this one.
Damn right. Next up, the New York Giants at the Minnesota Vikings. A big game for the Giants, who I do think if they win this game, they're in the playoffs, which is just so fucking wild. But the Vikings are an agent of chaos in a league that is often chaotic. What do you think is going to happen here?
I'm going to pick the Vikings here. However, it is not like a slam dunk. I do think the Giants stand a chance.
I do too. I'm with you, but I am picking the Vikings as well because I as much as it would be fun to see the Giants win this game, but I also don't necessarily find the Giants all that entertaining. Like taking a step back as like a fan, because of course as a fan I would love to see them in the playoffs in their first year under Brian Daboll. Like that's just such a wild thing I would never have predicted. But they're just not a very fun team to watch. I wish that they were a little bit more like... I wish there was a lot more talent on the offensive side, especially. Game on Thibodeau, though, is working out for them, and I'm
absolutely great pick.
I'm very much enjoying him.
By the way, lots of Saturday games this year, Christmas Eve games. Only like 3 Sunday games for Christmas.
So they're having they're having the normal slate of football on Saturday this year because they didn't want to have all of it on Christmas, but they basically want to take over Christmas. They're trying to do what the NBA has done, and they're trying to be like, hey, let's have some premier matchups on Christmas, and it turns out that those premier matchups are not very good this year. But
they're not very good this year, but they will still be watched more than the NBA games.
Right. That's just how it works, unfortunately, for the NBA.
All right, my turn.
Yes.
Cincinnati Bengals take on the New England Patriots. Bengals with their amazing comeback against the Buccaneers versus the Patriots trying to cling on to playoff hopes. Will the Bengals get into the big dance?
I think they will. The Bengals should do it here. They should win it. The thing is, like, this Patriots team, I was lamenting about how I think this Raiders team is pathetic, but the Patriots are kind of almost the same in the same vein, especially at how they lost that game. I hope that the Patriots don't make the playoffs purely because this team is just destined to be blown out in the first week of the wild card weekend like they did last year.
I am with you. I'm picking the Bengals.
Next up, Detroit Lions at the Carolina Panthers. Panthers had a chance to kind of enter this week I think almost in the lead in the NFC South.
Maybe, yeah.
And they blew that against the Steelers. Lions are surging, and with a win and a loss, I think, by the Washington Commanders, I think the Lions would enter the playoff picture. What do you think is going to happen?
Would. I think the Lions are going to enter the playoff picture.
I do too. I'm so excited for the Lions. I want them to do it. It'd be so amazing. This is the most exciting Lions team that we've had in like some time, even though I know that they were in the playoffs a few years ago with Jim Caldwell, but it's just like, no, this feels different. This
is different. This is not a stagnant Lions team.
How can you deny the greatness that is Jared Goff at this point, baby? Let's
Absolutely.
Go.
Fucking love Jared Goff. The Rams got swindled.
Oh my god, that is a wild story. Wild storyline that I don't think anyone was expecting.
Not at all.
There you go. Fuck yeah, Lions.
The Atlanta Falcons versus the Baltimore Ravens, battle of the birds. Ravens trying to cling on to their playoff hopes. Atlanta still technically in the race because the NFC South sucks ass. All these teams are at 5-9 except the Buccaneers, who are at 6-8. They can still win the division because everybody sucks. Ravens, they need Lamar. Lamar did not practice today. Who's going to win this game?
I think it is a tougher matchup to pick considering the circumstance. I do think the Ravens still have a very good defense. And I think I was listening to the Around the NFL people, and they were saying that Desmond Ridder had maybe one of the worst starts we've seen of a quarterback this season. So as much as
and that's considering that Malik Willis also started this season,
right? And so I'm like, as much as I would like to think that, like, I my initial thing was, okay, I picked the Falcons last week because I was thinking, like, maybe Desmond Ridder comes in and he's the guy that they needed to, like, start surging, and maybe they actually end up being interesting come playoff time. Now I'm like, no, this is just a sinking ship. So I'm going Ravens.
I'm also going to go Ravens. I know I said I would try to differentiate some stuff with you. I don't think I've done that yet, so
it's up to you.
It's fine.
It's up to you how you want to play it out at this point.
Nah, I'm going to stick with what I've got.
Yep. Next up, the Washington Commanders at the San Francisco 49ers. A very intriguing matchup if it weren't for the fact that the Commanders should have been on a win streak if they had not blown it against the Giants. Granted, refs kind of came into play there, and so that's a tough thing for the Commanders. But they lost, and now they have to face maybe one of the best teams in football in the 49ers. So what do you think is going to happen here?
Brock Purdy for president.
Damn.
He looks pretty good.
He looks
I mean, really all the 49ers need is a game manager, someone who can not lose the game for them, and so far Purdy's done that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like, I think that he's been incredible. Not incredible, but like he has been incredible for what they need out of him, and I think for that and the fact that they have just so much talent on all fronts, I have a lot of faith in the 49ers, so I'm gonna go and pick them.
Cool. All right. Philadelphia Eagles, who earlier this week, and by that I mean yesterday, there was a scare that Jalen Hurts got injured. Now a day later they're like, okay, there's a chance that Jalen Hurts will play on Saturday. They are drawing stuff up for both him and Gardner Minshew.
Okay. Interesting.
Which again, the best backup quarterback in the league. He should have a starting job. I'm dying on that hill. He's the best quarterback from his draft class. Versus the Dallas Cowboys, who blew it against the Jaguars, but are still a solid team. Eagles or Cowboys, Chris?
The Cowboys are such a fucking weird team because I feel like you have these games where you're like, man, they should have won that, and then you have games with the Cowboys when they play and then they're more competitive than you expected because you're like, well, wait a minute, like it feels like this is a game that the Cowboys are destined to blow, and then they don't. I feel like in this instance, with especially if they roll out and injure Jalen Hurts, I feel like the Cowboys are gonna surprise here, and I'm gonna say they win. I feel like as the Eagles are a very talented football team, and there's no doubt about it, they'll probably win the Super Bowl. I just think that they're destined for maybe one more loss, and this feels like it could be that. So I'm going to go Cowboys.
This is the one where I'm glad I introduced this one because this was the one where I directly said I'm picking the opposite of whatever Chris says.
That's fair. Yeah.
Because it's that close to me.
Yeah.
I don't have any like high stakes in this. If Hurts was 100% healthy, it would be a slam dunk Eagles.
Yeah, I think so.
I still think the rest of the team is well-rounded enough that they can still pull out the victory. Let's go Gardner Minshew.
Yep.
And the way that Sirianni is talking, saying like we have a game plan for both quarterbacks, we're not sure if this will happen. And I also think that and this is maybe metagaming things a bit too much, and I hate to like make light of this specifically.
Yeah.
But Minshew was coached by Mike Leach. And spoke at his memorial service.
Okay.
Earlier this week, like was excused from the team to go to that.
Yeah.
And I think that Minshew coming off of the bench with that in his mind would be more motivated to win any game ever than he ever has before.
Hey, I totally see it. I totally get it. Yeah, I think, like I said, it's just a tough game. There's something in my gut that's just telling me that this is going to end up being a surprise.
This is a 2-loss Eagles team.
Right. That's what I mean. And I just feel like it just feels right that this would be the win here. But yeah, Cowboys have not looked good the last few weeks, especially specifically on defense. And I know that people want to go after Dak for his play, but I think that's a little too. People want to blame the quarterback for everything on that front. So yeah. I think it happened. Good game. Great game. I'm very excited for it.
Yes.
Next up, the Las Vegas Raiders at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Are these? Oh wait, no. I was gonna say the Ravens. I was like, and the Falcons. Oh yeah, and the Panthers. Wait a second. I was like, are these the only teams with like black as their secondary color? But I'm like, oh wait, no, that's like almost every other fucking football team.
There's a lot of teams.
But it's just for some reason,
Saints.
these two teams, I feel like just they end up matching it up very well. It's a great uniform matchup in this game between the Raiders and Steelers, but it's between two teams that are kind of middling. What do you think is going to happen here?
I'm picking the Raiders. I don't feel strong about either option.
I am picking the Steelers.
Okay. Another deferment.
This is mostly because of what I was saying about the Raiders this week, where I feel like the Raiders are getting a lot of lucky breaks their way, and the Steelers are playing really well on defense, and they're starting to click on offense. Things are looking very good.
If they win their last 3 games, they get that. They still have Mike Tomlin still gets his winning season.
Right, and it's not looking that wild. It is not looking that far off right now. So I'm into that. So I'm definitely going. By the way, Steelers are my guarantee. I guarantee the Steelers. Cool. So that's a midi fucko for you.
Yep.
For you folks.
All right. Green Bay Christmas Day. What lovely weather for us. I'll right together with you. Gotta
crank that one out
had to throw that back.
Yeah.
Green Bay Packers take on the Miami Dolphins. Green Bay Packers are still in playoff contention. They won't be for long. I fucking hate Aaron Rodgers. I hate his fucking face. Cause he's so like gung-ho about, we're still alive for the playoffs. Who cares? Nobody wants to see you play football anymore. You blame the rest of your team for everything. You suck. Versus the Miami Dolphins, who I love.
Yeah.
They're so much better than 8-6, I feel. Yeah. Their offense is like slowed down a little bit, but they've also been like playing good teams. Played close against the Bills. Do you think they'll be able to beat the Packers?
They should be able to, man. It's just been a tough stretch. We knew coming in though. Like this was what was this? This is the 49ers. And then someone before the Bills, I forget who did they play? The Chargers. And the Chargers have been doing a lot better in the past few weeks, right? Like, this has just been a very difficult stretch for the Dolphins, and they've been slapped in the face. But the Dolphins showed that they can hang with the Bills. Like, this is not a bad football team by any stretch. And I feel like the Packers, they kind of struggled against the Rams, even though it ended up being a 12-point victory. Like, it was not like this perfect outing for them. And I kind of just look at the Dolphins at this point. I'm like, this is just a better football team. So Dolphins.
I need the Dolphins to bury the Packers.
Yep, with you.
It would be a fantastic Christmas gift.
Absolutely. Next up, the Denver Broncos at Los Angeles Rams. They really, really thought they had something with this game.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them. I don't blame them for thinking that. But boy howdy, what a fucking game for 4:30 at Christmas. At least during this part, most people would be having Christmas dinner.
That's true.
So that way people could get distracted in this one. Any way that you want to go about this one.
I think I'm gonna pick the Broncos.
Yes, you're with me on this because I'm like. I think we have to kind of come to the realization that the Broncos do actually have some talent that's working for them.
and the wildest thing is that Russell Wilson did not play last week.
Right. Brett Ripien's playing better than Russell Wilson has all season.
Who's quarterback?
Brett Ripien? I think his name is.
I don't know who that is.
That's the quarterback of the Broncos.
I've never heard that name before.
That is who's quarterbacking for the Broncos, my friend. I mean, maybe I'm forgetting who it is. No, yeah,
that's him. Yeah,
that is him, Brett Ripien. And
where
behind
is
him,
he from? He's from Spokane, Washington.
he was a Boise State Bronco quarterback, I believe.
There you go. He was Canadian. He's Canadian.
No wonder. So special, those Canadians.
So he's Canadian American, born in America.
Yeah.
Where's the Canadian come from?
This is
because he went to school in Spokane.
Okay.
And played at Boise State. Where's the Canadian from? Are his parents Canadian? Is that it?
I don't know.
That's got to be it.
I don't know. I didn't realize that you would be like diving deep into this.
I'm just trying to figure out why he's Canadian.
Sometimes people are just Canadian.
His uncle.
He knows someone that's Canadian.
Is Canadian born.
Okay. Interesting. Sure.
He's the nephew of Super Bowl 26 MVP, Mark Rypien.
Right.
Who was born in Canada.
Well, actually, is it Mark Rypien? Mark Rypien sounds familiar. Is he a coach or a?
I mean, he might be a coach now.
It just sounds familiar to me for some reason. No, yeah, he's just a player.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. There you go. So we're both picking Broncos.
All right, we're picking the Broncos.
There you go.
All right. Sunday night football. Tampa Bay Buccaneers take on the Arizona Cardinals. Buccaneers still trying for a playoff spot. Cardinals, no Kyler, no hope.
Darkness, despair. Goodbye. Cliff is going off the cliff. Indeed. I'm going the Buccaneers.
I'm also going the Buccaneers. As much as I want, like, one of the non-Buccaneers teams to win the NFC South.
This is going to be the game that everyone's like, Tom Brady's back, and we're just going to ignore everything else.
They're going to ignore the fact that he's playing the Cardinals.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And finally, God, why do we put the Colts still in prime time?
Why did we think the Colts were going to be good?
The Chargers at the Colts the day after Christmas, Monday Night Football. The Chargers are surprised. Like, it is like I know the surprise in your when you were reading off the playoff scenarios. Like, it is kind of surprising that the Chargers have all of a sudden like come out of nowhere and like are legitimately like probably gonna end up making the playoffs now. You
know why it is? It's Mike Williams.
Yeah,
Mike Williams is a difference maker.
Yeah, big time. What so is that? Are you going Chargers?
I'm going Chargers because they have Mike Williams.
Yeah, I'm also going Chargers. Yeah.
Well, like it is like it's amazing when you have weapons, when you have offensive players, good offensive receivers and running backs, that your team is better.
Yeah, 100%.
Weird concept, huh?
Absolutely. There you go. So, look, I know you said that you were going to do a lot of disagreements. Sometimes it is the better strategy to play more conservative because you also don't want like it to blow back at you. Like if you obviously you disagree so much and then you start losing ground again because the other person still keeps on getting it right.
Right. So the last week I got to pick like however many I'm behind. I got to make sure I have that many games that I disagree.
That is exactly the strategy. Or if you feel like, I mean, we have 2 weeks to choose from, so you could make next week that week too. Like, it's whatever you feel like, because it's also like week 18 is a very difficult week to pick football games for.
Correct.
Because there's also like some teams are gonna bench their players, all that stuff. So like maybe it will be next week, but I think you're doing the right thing right now by keeping me comfortable for 1 week. But there you go. So it's the disagreements are Eagles at Cowboys, Raiders at Steelers. We both agreed on the chaos, and the Steelers and Jaguars are our guarantees for this week. So yeah, there you go. And again, like if you end up picking if the Eagles and Raiders both win, and I fall apart with my 2 other picks with the guaranteed chaos thing, you're already closing the gap. So anything can happen.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. So there you go, folks. It is.
We did it. We found the meaning of football.
We found the meaning of football. It is team chaos. At all times, never ends.
Christmas time is here.
Thank you, all of the Peanuts, for that rendition. All right, I gotta say, like, hot take, maybe. I don't know if this is really that much of a hot take. I just don't like the Peanuts. Like, at least like the Christmas songs. Like the piano one's a bop. Don't get me wrong. The
Oh Christmas Tree piano.
I whatever.
Or the Linus and Lucy. Da, 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 da,
that one's a banger. It is the one that you were just singing. That I'm just kind of like, I don't need to. I don't care about this. You know.
It is so fucking jazzy. Like those children would not sing that song.
Yeah.
Because it is a jazz ass song. It is like the very first Christmas time is here. That very first note is the fucking 7th scale degree. That's not a note that you start melodies on.
Yeah.
Unless it's Danny Boy. Danny Boy is the only other like one that makes sense. But even then, that's like a lead in. That's like a pickup note. So that makes sense. It is like right on the fucking beat. It is a 1 chord with the 7th scale degree. Christmas time is here. Ba 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 ba. No, like it is a jazz ass song. Children would not sing that song unless it was written by fucking Vince Giraldi, a very talented jazz musician.
And that was Music Corner with Matt Gokups. Anyways. Thank you. I did not know there was a lot of scientific stuff there that I was not music theory stuff that I'm just kind of like I don't know about. But either way, my take is that song is not good. But at least sung by the Peanuts. But don't talk to me. I'm Scrooge in this scenario. Anyways, thank you all so much for listening to this holiday edition of the Virtual Ball Boys. We'll be back for the last week of 2022. Not the last regular season week. It's just the last week of the calendar year for a new episode. And a lot of playoff scenarios are going to start to bubble over. It's all happening here on the Virtual Ball Boys. Thank you again, and we will see you next week.
Good night and good grief. Virtual Ball Boys has been brought to you by Team Chaos Productions. Find us on Twitter at Virtual Ball Boys and find more of our work at Team Chaos Pods.